Happening now, children are heading back to school after that winter break, and soon the way many of them access social media will change in Ohio.
So a new law will take effect in less than 2 weeks, and it focuses on the mental health of young people, also making their parents aware of what apps they want to use. Danielle Dindak joining us live on how it works. And Danielle, we spoke with Ohio's Lieutenant Governor. He pushed hard for this new law.
Yeah, Kelly, he was really quick to point out the dangers lurking online, and this new law focuses on kids younger than 16 years old. So as of January 15th, kids 15 years and younger will have to get consent from their parents if they want to be on sites like Facebook and Instagram. And get this, those sites will also have to check in back with those parents to make sure that consent was accurate.
Starting on January the 15th, if they want to sign up for new apps, they're just going to have to get your clearance before they do that. It'll be a simple, easy process. But I would encourage parents, don't wait until the law goes into effect. If they're on Instagram or TikTok or these other apps that are really addictive, YouTube, others.
Now, Lieutenant Governor went on to say that they don't want to overcomplicate it, whether it's for the parents or the social media sites. So they're going to make sure there are different methods out there and that this works easily and accurately. Kelly, Stephen?
Yeah, and Danielle, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. We were all teenagers at one point. So when it comes to enforcing this, what is stopping kids from creating fake accounts to get around this new law?
Yeah, and as you know, it's so easy to create those fake accounts. So I had the chance to talk to a cybersecurity expert, and he told me that he thinks this new law is needed. But he's very curious to see how this all works out, especially, like I said, when it comes to those fake accounts or kids going to neighbors' houses. So take a listen to what he had to say about all this.
If you are knowingly and willfully violating those terms of service and saying you're older, yeah, it's going to be hard for them to verify that, because if I go in there and say I'm 21, do you really think that Facebook or TikTok or any of these sites are going to take the time to ask you to verify that if the law doesn't require it? You know, so yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to enforce potentially.
So once again, while he's saying it might be difficult to enforce, he thinks this law is needed. And so when I went on to ask him what he thinks parents should know about social media right now, and he said it's just a good idea to know what your kids are up to and what's on their phone and try to stay ahead of them, while it might be hard to see what that next social media platform could be. So once again, this law is supposed to take effect on January 15th. That's when all the social media companies are supposed to comply with this. Of course, if there's any new updates on this law, we'll be sure to pass it along to you. Kelly, Stephen?
All right, yes. Danielle, thank you. A very important topic. And now we should note the Ohio Attorney General says this new law does not require operators to notify parents about the accounts made before January 15th of this year. So that's something we'll watch as this evolves.
Now, something we're also watching is any potential legal challenges to this law. The Lieutenant Governor told us that he does expect some pushback either way, and Ohio is not alone in this. Now, these states highlighted behind me, these are all states that are putting similar parental consent laws into place, talking about Georgia, Texas, Louisiana. Now, the two states in red, Utah and Arkansas, both have actually been sued already by a group representing the major social media companies. A judge has also temporarily blocked Arkansas's law from taking effect while the legal process plays out. Of course, we'll keep an eye on any potential challenges that happen here in Ohio. Kelly?
All right, Stephen, thank you.